This session is meant for all new sellers who want to start selling on Amazon. This is the list of prerequisites for attending this training. Please go through this list and make sure you adhere to them before we start this session. Also, before we start this session, please log into your Seller Central account. For that, go to this URL https://sellercentral.amazon.in and log in with your email address and password. In case if you do not remember the password, please click on Forgot Your Password to get it again. And once you have logged into your Seller Central account, please proceed with this training. So welcome all of you to the SOA program or Selling on Amazon program. There are three basic facts that you should know before you start selling on Amazon. A, you cannot sell used or refurbished items on Amazon.in. You can only sell new items. B, you cannot sell a product on Amazon.in for a price that is more than the price at which you're selling it elsewhere. Let's take an example. Let's say you sell books, and let's say you sell one particular book for rupees 100 on your own website or other online or offline channel. You cannot sell that same book on Amazon for more than rupees 100. It can be rupees 100 or less than it, but it cannot be more than that. And third, if there are octroi charges applicable for your products in certain areas in the country, you and not the customer who will have to bear that. Okay, now that we know these three basic facts, let's move on to the actual training modules. This whole training can be divided into 4 different training modules. What are those training modules? Managing inventory on Amazon.in, managing orders on Amazon.in, how your performance will be evaluated as a seller on Amazon.in, and the different business reports that are available to you on Amazon.in. Now, on the Seller Central account of yours, these 4 modules are basically these 4 tabs that you can see. This is the inventory tab for managing inventory, order tab for managing orders, reports, and performance tab. So we will talk about these 4 tabs in form of 4 different modules. You can also see this bunch of different notifications which are coming on your home page after you log into your Seller Central account. We will be talking about some of these notifications in details in this session. The other notifications are for you to see them every time you log into your account for the first time and work on them on priority. So we will talk about each of these modules in details now. And after each segment, we will pause for questions where you can type in your questions on that specific module. There's a questions box in the webinar tool that you're using to attend this training. You can type in your questions in that questions box. We would try to answer them before moving on to the next segment. In case we cannot, we'll surely try to answer them before this session ends. And if there are still some questions pending, we would write back to you after this session. The first module that we will discuss today is managing inventory on Amazon.in. As part of that, the first point that we will discuss is how to update your stock and or price of your inventory. Now this is very important. All of you would be selling on other channels apart from Amazon as well. Now your inventory must be changing all the time during a business day. It might be changing in terms of the stock available to you. It might be changing in terms of price as well, as in you might be giving a discount on one particular day and you might take off the discount on another day. Now how to keep your inventory that is on Amazon up to date with all of these changes. Now, there are three ways of doing that. Okay, let's look at each of those methods in details. The first method is updating price and quantity manually one by one. How do you do that? Okay, so from inventory, the first option that you see is manage inventory. This is the page where you will see all the products that you have listed on Amazon. There's a status column here. The products which have the status as active are the ones which are available for sale right now on Amazon. Inactive, out of stock is obviously out of stock. And if you see the status as anything like suppressed or any other status, it means that there is something wrong with that particular listing. Maybe you have not uploaded images, or maybe there is some other issue with that particular listing, and you should basically resolve it immediately to make the listing available on Amazon again. Okay, so for all the listings which are active, you can see that these two columns, the available column, which is basically the quantity available with you for that product right now, and the your price column, which is the selling price for that product right now. Both of these columns are editable. So you can simply come here and change the quantity. So for example, I'm changing the quantity of this particular product from 700 to say 600. And I'm changing the price from say 10,113 to 11,113. Just change it and press enter, and it will be saved. So this is the simple method of updating price and quantity one by one manually. As most of you would agree with me, this is very difficult for any seller who has a lot of listings, let's say more than 50 listings. It's very difficult to do it every day one by one like this. Hence, we have the second and the third methods, which allow you to update price and quantity in bulk. Let us look into those methods now. For the second method and the third method, we will go to, from inventory, we will go to add products via upload. Now, the second method is basically to use the same flat file template that you might have used to upload your products on Amazon. This method lets you use that same flat file to update price and quantity as well. Okay, so if you want to download a fresh flat file template, you can come here and you can click on download template, and you can download the flat file for your category. So here are all the flat file templates. You can just simply download the flat file for your category. Now, it's advisable that you use the second method only if you have used a flat file before to upload listings on Amazon. If you have not, and you still want to update price and quantity in bulk, the third method is most suited for you. Okay. However, if you have used a flat file template before to upload your products, so you can just take that same file. For example, I have a sample books flat file with me. I'll just open that up. Yeah, this is how it looks like. So for any categories flat file, you would see that there are two columns here which you need to basically update. The one is the standard price column, which is basically the selling price, and second is the quantity. So you can just make your change here. So for example, from 500 I'm changing the price to say 400, and the quantity from 10, say right now I have 5 with me, right? So you can just make that change for that particular product here. One additional thing that you have to do is there is a column called update delete in your flat file template. So you have to write partial update for that particular product. So there's a drop down menu. You have to select partial update for that particular product before uploading the file, because you're only updating the price and quantity and nothing else. Okay, and just like you would know, any Excel sheet, any Excel file template first has to be saved as a text tab delimited. So from file, go to save as. The save as type has to be text tab delimited. The name can be whatever you want to. So for example, I have kept the name as sample flat file books. You have to save it. There will be a couple of warning messages which would come, which is absolutely fine. You can click on OK and yes. And from the same page from where you downloaded this file, you can go back. You can select inventory file as the type of file to upload. Choose the file by browsing for it and click on upload now. So this was the second method of updating price and quantity on Amazon. Let's talk about the third method now. The third method is the method that we recommend for all sellers. I'll shortly tell you why. Now, for the third method as well, under inventory, you have to come to add products via upload. You have to click on this download template button and scroll all the way down. Okay, so there's the price and quantity template. As you can understand, this is a template which is specifically designed for updating price and quantity. So click on that and download it. So I would strongly recommend that all of you go ahead and download this template right now and try using it along with me. Okay, so this is how the file looks like. There are two tabs, data definition and price template. Two tabs, data definition and price template. The data definition tab is there to help you out, to guide you on how to fill up this template. Price template is the tab that you need to fill up. As you can see, there are 6 columns here in this particular price and quantity file. To update price and quantity, you just have to use 3 out of the 6 columns. You have to use SKU column, price column and quantity column. Okay, so it's very simple. On the SKU column, you write down all the SKU codes for which you want the price and quantity to be updated. What is an SKU code? So from inventory, if you go to manage inventory, you see the merchant SKU column. These are all the SKU codes for your products which you have supplied while creating the listing. In case if you're not sure about your SKU codes, you can download an inventory report. From inventory, you can go to inventory reports and download an inventory report to find the full list of the SKU codes that you have. So you type in all the SKU codes here. For example, I'm typing in test as an SKU code. You type in the current price for that product. So let's say 500, and you type in the current quantity of that product. Let's say 5. You do that for all of the products for which you want to update it. Again, the same thing. From file, go to save as. Select the type of file as text tab delimited. You can give it whatever name you want to. And then from the same page from where you downloaded this file, that is under inventory, go to add products via upload. This time, select the type of file to upload as price and quantity file. Choose the file by browsing through your computer and click on upload now. And that will update the price and the quantity for all of the products that you have mentioned in that Excel sheet. Now in case you want to update only the price and not the quantity, or vice versa, you can just keep the other one as empty. So for example, let's say I just want to update the quantity and not the price. So you can keep the price column as empty and just follow the same procedure to update only the quantity. Now there are 2 additional benefits of using the price and quantity update file. A, it can safeguard you against a wrong price update, and B, it allows you to customize the handling time for your products. Let's see how we can do that. Okay, as we saw before, there were 3 other columns in the price and quantity file that we did not use. We only used the SKU code, the price, and the quantity columns. Okay, so these 2 columns are basically the minimum seller allowed price and the maximum seller allowed price columns. A lot of times what we have seen is the seller, while updating the price, makes a mistake. So for example, let's say tomorrow for this particular product, I'm trying to update the price, and by mistake, instead of 500, I say put 50. I put one less 0, right? So as you can understand, when this product goes live for rupees 50 instead of 500, there will be a lot of orders which would come in, and you might ultimately have to cancel all of those orders. Now to safeguard you against such mistakes and such situations, you can basically put a price range here. So if I, for this product, let's say, which has a price of 500, if I put the minimum seller allowed price as rupees 450 and the maximum as say rupees 600, then at any point of time, if I put a price outside this price range, the system will not update that price and will throw me an error. So this is a very handy way of guarding yourself against such price update mistakes. Now, this file also allows you to customize the lead time to ship for your products. Now, if you want to change the lead time to ship from the default 1 to 2 business days to something else, all you have to do is come here and just put in that new number here. So for example, if I put 5 here, it would mean that for this particular SKU, that is test, the lead time to ship has been increased to 5 calendar days from the default 1 to 2 business days. However, a quick word of caution here. Do exercise this option with a lot of caution. Our recommendation would be to only increase the lead time to ship if you have some special selection that you import from outside, or you have a make-to-order process where after receiving the order you actually manufacture the product. Because if you are increasing the lead time to ship for your offer on a standard product on which there are other sellers who have offers as well, by increasing the lead time to ship, you might just be decreasing your chances of getting that order, because customers would always prefer a seller who can deliver it faster to them in comparison with you. For example, if you're selling a mobile phone that you promise to deliver it to customer within, say, next 10 days, and if there's another seller who's selling the same mobile phone and promises to deliver it within 5 days, customers might always prefer the first seller. And again, after making these changes, you will have to save this file. From file, you have to go to save as. Save this file as a text tab delimited file and then upload it on Seller Central, just like we did for price and quantity update. The next thing that we will look into are the inventory reports. We would try to understand what are the different types of inventory reports that are available to you, and we'll also show you how to find duplicate listings on your Amazon Seller Central account. For that, under inventory, we will go to inventory reports. Okay, you see there's a drop down option here, and there are different inventory reports that are available to you. So for example, inventory report would tell you your entire listings that you have uploaded on Amazon. Active listings would tell you all the listings that are currently active. Cancelled listings will tell you all the listings that have got cancelled recently. Similarly, sold listings will tell you all the listings that have got sold recently. Listing quality and suppressed listings report will tell you about all of those products that you tried to upload on Amazon but could not due to some issue. So in this session, we will only look into the inventory report, but we strongly recommend that you explore all of these other options and do get back to us in case if you have trouble understanding them. So you have to first request a report, and after that the report will be ready to be downloaded. So I have a sample inventory report ready with me, which we can discuss. So this is how the inventory report looks like. It gives you all the SKUs, the corresponding ASIN number, which is Amazon's internal code for each of your products, and the price and the quantity. Now, the ASIN number will be unique for each of your products. So if you find multiple SKUs with the same ASIN number, you can find out that those are duplicate listings that you have uploaded on Amazon. It is not allowed, so you will have to go ahead and delete those SKUs from your inventory on Amazon. The next thing that we will discuss is promotions. There are 4 built-in promotions that you can use on Amazon Seller Central. Let's look at each one of them. For that, under inventory, we will go to manage promotions. So there are 4 built-in promotions that we have on Seller Central. Let's look at the first one. Let's say free shipping. Click on create button here. Okay, so it allows you to customize this promotion in the way you want to. So for example, you can select how many, what is the quantity of items that you want buyers to purchase, what is the minimum quantity of items that you want the buyers to purchase, uh, which items you want to give this promotion on, uh, what does the buyer get, which is like free shipping for this particular option. You can also select like which shipping option on which you want to provide this free shipping. Is it on expedited shipping? Is it on standard shipping? Is it something else? You can also schedule it accordingly. What is the start date, end date, the time as well within which you want to run this promotion. You can give it a name. For example, if you're doing it for a particular occasion like a Mother's Day or a Father's Day, you can give it a name like that. Now, this additional option is also there. You can also have a claim code. So this is the claim code that you can use for your marketing purposes. You can just take this code and you can put it up on your website, on your Facebook page, and you can say that a customer, if he uses this claim code on Amazon, will get this particular free shipping for the products on which I'm running this promotion on. Okay, so this is how you can create a promotion. So there are 3 other built-in promotions. Money off is basically offering a percentage or rupee discount on all or some of your products. Buy one, get one. And there's also a promotion called external benefits, which allows you to offer a post-order benefit on a part of your selection or the entire selection of yours, depending on your choice. So in this session, I will not get into detailed description of all of them. Please go ahead and explore them and get in touch with us if you have problem with any of those options. So that brings us to the end of this particular module. We will pause here and open up the session for questions. Just please go ahead and type in your questions. The second module that we will discuss today is how to manage orders on Amazon.in. As a part of that, the first thing that we will look at is how to check for new orders. So when you log into your Seller Central account, on the home page itself, you will find alerts which will let you know about the orders that you have, which you haven't confirmed yet. 2, you will receive emails notifications. You will receive SMS notification for your orders if you have signed up for the same. 3, under orders, you can go to manage orders. This is where you will find all of the orders that you have on your account, both pending ones as well as confirmed ones. 4, under orders, you can go to order reports, where you can download a report or schedule a periodic report, which will tell you about all the unshipped orders as well. So these are the 4 ways in which you can check for new orders. Okay, so next we will look at how to process new orders. For that, under orders, let's go to manage orders. So this is how the manage orders page looks like. It has all the orders that have come on your account. If you want to specifically look at the unshipped orders, you can come here. The total unshipped orders are displayed here, so you can click on that and it will take you to that page. So let's look at one order to understand what all details are displayed here. So the order date is given here. The order details, whether it's a COD order or it's a prepaid order, that is also displayed here. The buyer's name is given here, the type of delivery, the current status, and there's an actions column here. Now once you receive an order, by default you have 1 to 2 business days within which you need to ship it out. Now there are two ways in which you can confirm an order depending on which option you have chosen. So you can either confirm a shipment if you are shipping out your products using your own delivery network, or you have to schedule a pickup if you are using Amazon's shipping service, which is known as EasyShip. So in the actions column, as you can see, first there is an option of printing a packing slip, which you have to put inside the box while shipping it out. Then you have the option of scheduling a pickup. So this is the option that will come if you have opted for Amazon shipping, otherwise known as Amazon EasyShip. So if you click on schedule pickup, this is the window that opens up where you can basically select the invoice number. You can put in the invoice number, you can put in the package weight, etc. The type of package, the package dimensions, and basically you can choose a time slot, a date, and a time period on which you want Amazon shipping to come to your warehouse and pick up the package. Now, if you see a confirm shipment option here, it means that this particular order needs to be fulfilled using your own delivery network. So you can use any third-party courier service or Indian Postal Service to send out this package. So once you have sent out the package, you need to come here and click on confirm shipment. It will ask for the shipment date, the shipment method, and the tracking ID if you have one, and then you can click on confirm shipment to confirm that you have shipped out this order. Now you need to either confirm the shipment or schedule a pickup within 1 to 2 business days of receiving the order. That is, unless you have customized your lead time to ship and you have increased it. If you do not do that, it becomes a late shipment. You have 2 additional days, calendar days mind you, to ship it out after that. If you still do not ship it out within those 2 calendar days, it gets automatically cancelled by Amazon, and 2.5% of order value is charged on your account as a cancellation charge. In case you need to contact a buyer, you see there's an option here under order details to contact the buyer. You have to click on the buyer's name. So there are 3 ways of contacting the buyer. First, you can just type in your message here. You can add an attachment of a screenshot if you want to. Select the right subject for this particular communication, and then you can just comment it here. Then you can click on send email, which will send this email. You can also take this encrypted email ID of buyer from here. As you can see, this is encrypted, and you can use your own personal email to send an email to this buyer. So these are the 2 recommended ways of communicating with buyers on Amazon. In case there's an emergency and you have to call up the buyer, you can do that by clicking on that order ID, and in shipping address you can find the phone number of the buyer as well. So you can call up the buyer in case you absolutely need to. Otherwise, we advise you to avoid that option. One more thing, if you see the status of your order here as pending, it means that the order hasn't fully gone through yet, most probably due to the payment not being completed yet. If you see the status as pending for more than 2 days, do get in touch with us right away by contacting the seller support. Otherwise, it might get cancelled automatically by Amazon, and it might affect your performance as a seller on the platform. Now, if you need to cancel an order, you can do that from here as well. So you can click on cancel order. You can select the reason for cancellation here. You can put in a seller memo if you want to, and you can click on submit to cancel it. After cancelling the order, you can click on refund order here, and you can select the reason for refund, the amount to be refunded, and a memo if you want to. You can do both full refund as well as partial refund. Do remember, if you're cancelling an order, or if the order gets automatically cancelled because you haven't shipped it out in your handling time plus 2 calendar days of additional time that you get, 2.5% of the order value will be charged on your account as a cancellation charge. Now, if your buyer calls you up or contacts you and asks you to cancel the order on his behalf, please ask him to cancel it on his own, as otherwise it will affect your account on Amazon. However, if he insists, then you click on cancel order, select the reason for cancellation as buyer cancelled, and only then you cancel that particular order. So all of these can be done in bulk as well. For that, under orders, go to upload order related files. There are three options here: shipping confirmation, adjustments, which is like refunds, etc., and order cancellations. These three exercises can be done in bulk as well by downloading a template, filling it up, and uploading here after converting it into text tab delimited. You can do these things in bulk for your offers. Now, the next thing that we will look at are the order reports. For that, under orders, go to order reports. There are two types of order reports that you can download. One is the new orders and second is the unshipped orders. You can select the number of days for which you want this report and click on request report, and once it is ready to be downloaded, you can click on the download button here to download the same. Next, we'll look at managing returns and refunds. For that, under orders, go to manage returns. This is where you will find all of your return requests that are there on your account. For example, let's look at one return request. This is the order ID, the buyer's name. So if you want to talk to the buyer, you can just click on the buyer's name here and you can talk to him and figure out why he wants to return the product. The return reason although will be given here. The product details, you can read the return details and order history, etc. from here. So you can either authorize this return and issue a refund from here only. If you click on the issue refund button, you can go to a page from where you can do a full refund or a partial refund, and you can also contact the buyer from here. Do remember, if you issue a refund, if you issue a full refund on any particular order on Amazon, 20% of Amazon's commission, capped at rupees 300, will be kept back by Amazon and will not be returned to you. It will be charged as a platform fee for that particular transaction. So this is the end of this particular module. Again, we will pause here for a moment. Please go ahead and ask your questions. We will answer them before moving on to the next module. The next module that we will discuss is how to manage performance on Amazon.in. As a part of that, the first thing that we will look at are the seller performance metrics that we have on Amazon. For that, under performance, let's go to the first option, that is customer satisfaction. So this is the summary tab which will tell you overall how you are doing in terms of performance on Amazon. Under account health, you can see the 5 metrics on which you will be measured in terms of performance as a seller on the platform. So for each of these metrics, if you see green beside it, it means you're doing okay. Yellow means you're on the borderline, and red means you need to improve immediately on that performance metric. To understand what each of these performance metrics are, let's click on account health. Okay. So let's talk about each of these performance metrics. So order defect rate, what is an order defect rate? That's the percentage of defective orders that you have had in a specific time period. What is a defective order? A defective order is an order which resulted in either a negative feedback from your customer, or an A to Z guarantee claim, or a service credit card chargeback from the customer, which is very much similar to a guarantee claim. What is a cancellation rate? Cancellation rate are the percentage of orders that were either cancelled by you or were automatically cancelled because you could not ship it out on time in a specific time period. What is the late dispatch rate? Like we have discussed before, by default you have 1 to 2 business days of handling time. If you do not ship it out within those 2 business days, it becomes a late shipment. And late shipment rate is nothing but the percentage of such late shipments that you have had in a specific time period. Policy violations. There are different Amazon's policies which have been shared with you before as well as during the session today. If you violate any of these policies, it's bad for your performance on the platform, and depending on the policy that you violate, action might be taken on your account. The last one is contact response time. So whenever a buyer contacts you, you have 24 hours to respond back to that query. If you do not do that, it becomes a late response, and the contact response time is measured as a percentage of such late responses. As you can see on this page, you can basically see how you're doing on each of these performance factors over a period of time. If you scroll down, you can also see the performance targets that you have on each of these performance factors. So on order defect rate, your performance target is to have it less than 1%. The pre-fulfillment cancellation rate has to be less than 2.5%, and the late shipment rate has to be less than 4%. Also, the late response rate has to be less than 10%. We don't have a target for policy violation because it depends on the type of policy that you have violated. Depending on that, action might be taken on your account. So we at Amazon place a very high importance on customer experience. That's why we request you to adhere to these targets. If you fail to achieve these numbers on your performance metrics, two things can happen. One, we would warn you and we would request you again to get on track on this performance metrics. Or two, if you have defaulted on this performance metrics by a large margin, we can actually go ahead and suspend or block your account from selling on Amazon. Now, if unfortunately the second thing happens and your account is suspended or blocked from selling on Amazon, you have to create a plan of action and send that plan of action to us for us to review it and reinstate your account. So you can do simple things right to make sure that you do well on this performance metrics. For example, let's say the contact response time, which is measured from the time when a buyer sends you a query to the time when you send a response to that query. Now sometimes some of these queries do not require a response. Maybe he has just said thank you to you. Do remember to mark it as or flag it as no response required in the buyer seller messaging tool that we have seen before. Otherwise the system will misinterpret it as a late response and your contact response time will go high. Now all of these would contribute to your seller rating, which is the next tab. This is the rating of your performance on the platform. This rating is visible to the customers who are buying products from you. So a high rating would increase your chances of receiving an order. So on this page you can see your overall rating, you can find your score. You can also find suggestions on how to improve your rating as a seller on the platform. The next tab that we have here is customer feedback. This is where all the feedback, positive, neutral, negative, all the feedbacks are displayed. Now feedbacks are very important because these feedbacks are also displayed to your potential customers on Amazon, and depending on how many positive or negative feedbacks you have, your chances of receiving future order might vary. Now let's first talk about how to receive positive feedback. There are two suggestions that we would like to give on this point. First, you can add a note in the invoice that when you send off the package to your customer, you can add a simple note that says, hey, thank you for buying from us. If you like the service, please go ahead and give us positive feedback on Amazon. Second, when you confirm the shipment or when you schedule a pickup after receiving the order, Amazon sends a standard email to your customers saying that the order has been confirmed. What you can do is you can also send them a personal email, a customized email saying that, hey, thank you for the order. We have just dispatched it through ABC Courier and you should be receiving it within XYZ days. If you have liked our service, if you like the product, do remember to give us a positive feedback. That helps. Now on the other side, if you end up receiving negative feedback from your customers, that feedback would also appear on your account. Now there are two things that you can do there. A, you can resolve the issue with your buyer and you can ask him to remove that negative feedback. Or B, if he does not agree to remove the negative feedback, you can post a response on the negative feedback explaining your side of the story to your future customers. So for all of these we have reports as well. So under reports you have order quality report, performance over time, performance over selection, and similar options. Go ahead and explore them. If you have any issues understanding what the reports are, do get in touch with us. Under performance, the next thing that we will look at is how to handle A to Z guarantee claims. For that, under performance, let's go to A to Z guarantee claims. Now, what is an A to Z guarantee claim? A customer can file an A to Z guarantee claim with us under three circumstances. A, the product was delivered late to him, so that is post the maximum estimated delivery time. So for example, when he placed the order, if you promise to deliver it within say like next 15 days, if he does not receive it in the next 15 days, he can go ahead and claim an A to Z, file an A to Z guarantee claim. 2, the product was damaged when he received it. And 3, the product was different from the product that he ordered. So these are the three circumstances under which he can file an A to Z guarantee claim. So this is how the A to Z claim page looks like. Once you receive an A to Z guarantee claim, Amazon will notify you and you will have 7 calendar days to reply to that notification with your decision on that particular claim. So you can either accept the claim and refund the buyer from here, or you can contest the claim and provide Amazon with the proof that what the buyer is claiming is incorrect, and the claim can be won by you as well. But do remember, you have to respond to that Amazon's notification within 7 calendar days. Otherwise, you will be auto-faulted and the claim will be won by the buyer. Next is chargeback claim, which is very similar to an A to Z claim. The only difference being that the buyer files the chargeback with his credit card company, who in turn gets in touch with Amazon, and Amazon will get in touch with you, the seller. So all of these different factors, different claims will be shown to you as performance notifications. So under performance, if you click on the last option, you will see all the warnings, all the messages, and a lot of these will be sent to you via email as well. So that brings us to the end of this particular module. The next module is on business reports on Amazon.in. For that, under reports, the first option is payments. We'll click on that. Okay, so this is where you see all the transactions that have happened on your account. What is the next payment that you're supposed to receive and when you're supposed to receive that. There are 2 tabs here. First one is electronic transactions, that's credit card, net banking, etc. And second one is COD transactions that have happened on your account for the orders that you have received. This will tell you the beginning balance of the time period, the orders that you have received, the refunds, the closing balance, and the next scheduled date as well as the amount. So this is the statement view. You also have transaction view where you can select the time period and you can see all of these details as transactions. There are 2 other options here. First is all statements, which will allow you to download summaries for specific time periods. And second is the date range report. Again, you can provide specific date range and you can generate a report for monthly transaction as well as custom transactions. Reports, let's click on business reports. So you see there's a sales dashboard that is given here. You can find your sales report by date, by ASIN, which is by product as well. You can provide a date range here and you can see how you have been doing in that particular date range in terms of sales. There is also an Amazon Selling Coach feature that you see here, which will tell you about product opportunities, inventory opportunities, etc. So for example, what is product opportunities? You can see there are different options: high demand products with few listings, or popular out of stock products, or top opportunities for new offers. So as we identify more selling opportunity for you, you can find them under Amazon Selling Coach here. Also the notification emails that we will send you, we will mention those opportunities in those notification emails. So that's the end of this module 4. Please go ahead and ask your questions. Okay, so now we have finished all the 4 modules that we had to discuss in this training session. Before we wrap it up, there are a few things that we want you to remember before you're launched on the platform and your offers go live. First, for your day-to-day issues that you face in uploading new products or managing orders or anything else that we have discussed today, after you launched on the platform, you should always contact seller support for further assistance. How do you do that? So on Seller Central, on any page, if you scroll down, you have a contact seller support option here. If you click on that button, it will ask you to select a topic for which you're contacting the seller support. So for example, if you're facing problem with, let's say, orders, let's say other order issues. So you have 2 options. You can either contact them via email. You can add all the details here and send them an email, or you can contact them via phone during the business hours. So if you select phone here and if you click to call, if you select the option of click to call, you will receive a phone call from seller support on the phone number that you provide. Next, so we have put together a packaging guidelines document that we will be sharing with you after this session. The packaging guidelines document has step-by-step instruction on how to pack your products before shipping them out to your customers. We believe if you follow that document, if you follow those instructions, you will be providing a good customer experience. Third, if you're going on a vacation or if for some other reason you will not be able to handle your business on Amazon for some time, you should temporarily pause your selling on Amazon account before going on that leave. Now there are 2 ways of doing that. One way of doing that would be to update the quantity for all of your products as 0 on Amazon. You can do that by one or by price and quantity update file, or whichever method that you're using. If you make all the quantities of your products as zeros, it will mean that all of your products are out of stock for the time being. But the easiest way of doing that is perhaps this. Under settings, you go to account info. So you have a column, you have a field here which says the current status of listings. You will see them, you will see it as active. So you can click on edit and you can make it inactive and you can save the changes. So till the time you come back and you make this setting as active again, all of your products will be out of stock and nobody can place an order on those. That brings us to the end of this session today. Now these are 5 basic principles that we ask our sellers in all geographies to follow. We will be sharing this along with the packaging guidelines document with you after this session. Hope they help.
Hello everyone. Today in this video, we'll see how to schedule an EasyShip pickup using Amazon Seller Central. To get into the login page, please enter sellercentral.amazon.in. Enter your login credentials and click on Sign In. As we sign in, we get to see the home page, which is also called as the dashboard. before we start the pickup scheduling process, we first need to check all the orders that have been placed. We can do so by clicking on Orders and selecting Manage Orders from the drop-down. As we know, Manage Order page has details of both EasyShip and normal MFN order. Then how do we get to know which of these orders are EasyShip and which is not? Well, if we scroll to the extreme right hand side, we get to see 3 buttons. And the center button in case of an EasyShip will have an option of Schedule Pickup. However, in case of a normal MFN order, the center button will be Confirm Shipment. In the Manage Order page, we can also check if an order is cash on delivery or a prepaid order. We should ensure to never differentiate between an EasyShip and a normal MFN order through the shipping services, as the options are common for both EasyShip and normal MFN order. We'll now start with the pickup scheduling process. In the package details page, we enter credentials like invoice number, package weight, and the package dimensions. In case we have multiple package of similar dimensions, we can freeze the dimensions through Manage Your Package Types for it to appear in the drop-down. We click on Continue to proceed to the next page, that is Shipping Services page. In this page, we get to select the pickup date and the pickup time. For any given day, we have 3 slots of 4 hours each. Before selecting any slot, we need to ensure that the package is ready before the start time, as we can expect the Amazon associate to come at any point during the 4-hour slot. We should also ensure that the pickup is scheduled at least half an hour before the start time any given day, as we see the last slot is available from 2 to 6 p.m. Thus, we should ensure that if we want the pickup to be performed on the same date, the pickup must be scheduled before 1:30. We click on Continue to proceed to the next page. In the Confirm Shipping page, we need to confirm and check all the credentials that have been entered. In case we realize that some of the credentials needs to be edited, we can do so by clicking on the Edit button. As we see, all the details entered over here are correct. We'll proceed with the schedule pickup. Now the pickup has successfully been scheduled. We follow the same process for all the other packages. We should also ensure to have the documents like shipping label, packaging slip, customer declaration, and the invoice ready along with the packages. The shipping label, packaging slip, and the customer declaration can be printed from Seller Central. We can also brief our team that any label having ATSPL mention would be an EasyShip order and need to be handed over to an Amazon associate only. So in this video, we have learned the pickup scheduling process for an EasyShip order. In case you have any further query, please feel free to get in touch with our seller support team, and they'll be more than happy to assist you. Thank you.